Hey there, girlfriend. Ingafay here. Super excited to be here with you today. I have another coaching girlfriend with me, Nma Emeh. She is a well respected motivational speaker, and she is dedicated to empowering women leaders to embrace their body image and cultivate a positive self perception. So I'm so excited to share her with you today, and we will see you on the other side.
Hi, Ingafay. Thank you for having me.
Yes, girl, I'm super excited to have you here today. And before we get into the body image woes that people have, well, really that women have, I wanted you to tell us a little bit more about you, who you are, who you serve, and how you serve them.
Okay, good. Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm really excited to be speaking today to your audience and welcome to everybody. My name is Nma Emeh. I am a body image consultant and coach as well as a stylist. I work with women leaders to help them cultivate a more positive self-perception. Why? Because I worked in corporate for almost 20 years and I used to use fashion as a way to build up my confidence, but the reality of it was that it was really just a camouflage for my own insecurities. And I realized the higher I rose up in corporate, the more insecure I felt about my body for different reasons. So during the pandemic, I decided to go back on my own terms, which is to empower women leaders to embrace themselves, embrace their bodies as they lead in corporate, and from there, develop their confidence. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome, girl. Glad to share you with my audience. So, Emma, tell us a little about what is body image. So, what does that mean to you?
Good. I'm glad you asked. See, body image is the perception a person has about their physical appearance and
Mm,
the emotions that ensue as a result of that perception. It could be a positive perception, it could be a
mhm.
negative perception, but ideally we want to have a more positive perception about ourselves. Why is that important? Because when you stay in that negative state of mind about your body, it could lead to a series of medical conditions, which I'm sure I'll
Mm.
get to much later. So what about body image has impacted your audience lately? Do you?
Well, I mean, I know it's something that people struggle with on a regular basis, especially when it comes to clothing, what's trending, what's not in style, um, making sure that they're wearing things that complement their God given positives. I say that all the time that you want to do things that accentuate your God given positives. You don't have to look like Susie Q. God made you for this way for a reason, and that you should rock what you got. Because when you are authentically yourself, you attract more people to you. People are more um, in awe of you. I'll say it that way. And it just makes you more creative and more the person that you were put on this earth to be. That's really what I believe. And I tell people that all the time. So that's why when you come on and I have other folks come on and say the things that I've already said, you're that out of town expert that they're just going to be like, oh my gosh, that was so good. Well, Inga's told you that so many times. But anyway, it's all good. And that's why I'm so glad to have you here to share that information with them. So I wanted to ask you now is how do you know if you have body image issues?
That's a very good question. You see, for me, I didn't always know that I had body image issues. I mean, well, first of all, let me say that my body was a topic of discussion for most of my life. I look very
Mm,
different from my sister. So I come from a family of seven, six sisters, one brother. And my
wow.
sisters are I'm actually the shortest and I'm 5'9".
Oh,
My
wow. Okay.
sisters, yeah, exactly. My sisters are like, 6 foot, 6'2", tall, model-esque, and I was more of the voluptuous one. And so I always used to question why I looked so different from my sisters. I wanted to be as tall as they were, as slender as they were. But to your point, God made us all unique and different. So it
Yes.
took me a while to really embrace who God designed me to be,
Hmm.
and and to understand why I was made this way and really embrace it in all its in its entirety.
Right.
So, but in those days when I wrestled with my own body image, it was really about a mindset. But the thing about body image is it's a thing of the mind. It is what you
Mm.
tell yourself. So if
Yep.
you find yourself looking in the mirror and you find more negative things about your body than you do positive, chances are
Right.
you probably have some level of body image insecurities. If you feel ashamed about or embarrassed by any part of your body, whether it's your hair, your nose, your nails, your feet, your whatever it is, then of course you have some level of body image insecurity. Some misconceptions that people have, that we women have, is that body image only pertains to how much we weigh, to our weight.
Right.
But that's not true. It's way more than that. It's
Mm.
simply just being dissatisfied with any aspect of your body. Like I said, it could be your hair, you know,
Right.
especially in the Black communities. For some of us,
Mm-hmm.
it's taken us a while to really embrace our hair and all its textures and what it's able to do. So I'm
Yep.
glad when I see young girls today who are wearing their froze, wearing out their froze. Some of us are wearing our twists and our locks
Right.
and everything. That just tells
Exactly.
me how far we've come in our body image journey and how we are able to embrace it in its entirety. Another question that you could ask yourself to know if you have body image insecurities is, do you find yourself comparing your body to those of others? Like every time
Right.
you're on social media, are you looking just for entertainment, or are you looking and saying, oh my goodness, I wish I looked like that, and as a result you're feeling inadequate? Those are the
Right.
kinds of questions you want to ask yourself. And if you're answering yes to those, that yes, when you look at or watch social media or TV, you're comparing yourself and making yourself feel inadequate, then yes, you do have some level of body image insecurity. And that's okay. That's why I'm here. I work with women leaders, and I'm here to empower you to change your perspective from a negative perspective to a more positive perception. One of my mottos is, don't change your body, keep your body, change your perspective.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes, and I totally agree with that because I know personally for me, especially going in corporate, I worked in corporate for over 20 years. And a big thing for me was I couldn't wear a perm because it just completely broke my hair off. So I was very nervous about going in to work with my natural and how I was going to be perceived by my counterparts. And it was amazing to me that when I did do that, I had so many people that were not of our complexion say, "Oh, Inga, I love your hair." And I never expected that. So I totally can relate and empathize with those people that can feel like they have to look a certain way or be a certain weight or that kind of thing when it comes to especially working in the corporate world. Um, so I really appreciate you saying that.
I mean, the truth of the fact is, in the corporate world, and this cuts across all women. It's not by race or anything. I feel like a lot of us feel insecure in corporate because we're being held to unrealistic beauty standards.
Mm,
I think corporate for years has, in a subtle way, and sometimes not so subtle, dictated what they expect the actual woman, a good woman leader, to look like. It's
right,
more about, for years it was more about what we look like and less about our accomplishments, our
right,
achievements, our
right,
insights and our work ethics. And so one of the things I like to do when I go to work in corporate is, change their perspective. Let's make that shift, that mindset shift from the physical to more about our accomplishments and what we bring to the table. So
right.
you can't tell me that a heavyset woman is not fit to be in the boardroom. Those days are gone. But believe
Whoa,
it or
whoa.
not, that was a thing back then.
Well, thank you for that perspective. That's really interesting that that was an issue. I mean, why does that even matter? I mean, you have heavy set men always going up in there, and it's okay for them to do it. So why should it matter if we do it? So
You know,
that's crazy.
that's a question that only they can answer. And
Right. I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah. The struggle is real, right? The struggle is
struggle
so
is
real.
real, but we're going
So
to change
why
that rhetoric.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So I'm curious, why is it important to be aware of any body image issues? And I guess you kind of touched on it a little bit, but just let's get right down to it.
Well, the thing about it is that body image it's on a scale of, in terms of depending on how your mindset and approach to yourself is, the way you perceive yourself. So some people have, more positive self-image. Some of us have more negative self-image, and depending on where you are on that scale, it can really impact your day-to-day abilities. So for instance, if you have a negative body image and that goes unchecked, that can lead to social and mental health conditions like anxiety,
Right.
depression, eating
Hmm.
disorders. So, like
Yep.
body dysmorphia is a big that is the medical diagnosis of body image that has really gone unchecked. It's called body
Wow.
dysmorphia. So that's basically when people look at themselves in the mirror, but they don't see what they really look like. Does not is not what they see in the mirror. They have a different perception
Mm.
of themselves when they look at themselves in the mirror. So and then it can also lead to low self-esteem and low confidence. So those are
Right.
the issues that can come out from having a negative body image and self-perception. And that's why I like to work with women before, so that they don't get to that stage where they're suffering from any of those social or mental health conditions.
For sure, because that hinders women from being the person that they were meant to be that best version of themselves, whether it regardless of where they work, whether they're an entrepreneur or 9 to 5er, it really doesn't allow them to contribute to the world like they're really supposed to if they see themselves as not being worthy of contributing, essentially.
Exactly.
So
It makes it hard to really show up and bring your full potential. I mean, I was one
exactly.
of those people who was known as a power dresser in corporate. But the truth
Hmm.
of the fact is, it was really a camouflage for the way I was feeling. Now, I used to dress up as a way to build my confidence. But the moment
Hmm.
I would walk into the boardroom and realize I was either the only woman or the only minority, guess what? All the insecurities came back.
Came up
I didn't know
again.
how
Yep.
to handle and address it in the moment. So that's why I say it's a thing of the mindset. I work with people to change their perspective. And once you change your perspective, it shouldn't matter what you look like, what you're wearing. It should
Right.
be more about how you show up when you do what you deliver when you show up. And that's
Right.
what people are going to see and should focus on. And that's what people should know you for.
So, with that said, what would be some tips that you would give us on how to improve our body image?
Oh, girl, you got time?
We got a little time, just a little
Yeah.
time.
Well, what I do tell my clients is, first of all, you want to own your expertise. You
Mm,
have worked hard to get to where you are. Own your expertise. You deserve a seat at the table. And that's one thing that I always questioned about myself as I rose up in corporate. Did I really deserve a seat at the table? But the question
right,
is, why was I even questioning myself? I had gone
right.
to university. I had all the credentials, the work
Yep,
experience, and these people were promoting me based on my expertise. So obviously, I deserve the seat at the table. So you want
right,
to own your expertise, embrace everything about your accomplishments, your achievements, and that as you do that on a regular basis, that will help build your confidence and build your self-esteem, and eventually, obviously, your body image. I also encourage my clients to be authentic. There's
mm,
nothing more beautiful than someone who shows up as their authentic self. This day and
yes,
age, no one is looking for perfection. People
nope,
just want you to be real. They just want to be
yep,
able to relate to you. And so when you show up as your authentic self, you're allowing yourself to be open up to other people, and if it's okay if they see your flaws, because look, the
right,
truth of the fact is we're all flawed. None of us are perfect. So
exactly,
I think gone are the days where people were looking for perfection. Now people are looking for progress. So show up as
right,
your authentic self. And if your authentic self is your natural hair, you're in a big
yep,
straw, hey girl, go do
rocket.
it, work it. teach them about it. I tell my young girls to go to school and teach people about your hair. You might be the only Nigerian, the only African American that they will see, but
Right.
let them be left with a positive image
Yes.
of about our culture. Another thing I tell people to do is to challenge those self-limiting beliefs. I can't
Mm.
tell you how many times that for me, trust me, I'm still walking this body image journey. There's some days that yes, I do look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my goodness, I look like I just gained another 2 or 3 pounds. But you do want to change those self-limiting beliefs. You want to switch your rhetoric in your mind and focus more on the things that are um, that build up your self-esteem.
Mm.
And like I said, remember your accomplishments. Remember
Right.
where you come from. Remember how far you've come and what you're able to bring to the table. Let's move away from the negative talk about our bodies, about our physical appearance.
Right.
Focus more on the positive things about yourself that you do like, and try to feed your mind on those, and that will help to shift your perspective over time. The thing about body image is that it is a journey. It's not a one and done. It's
Oh,
something
yeah.
that you wake up every morning and you have to do it. I have to tell myself on some days I have to tell myself, to silence those negative thoughts and
Mhm.
replace them with positive thoughts so that I can just, get through the day and empower other women. So don't look at it as a one and done. The challenges are going to come, so just keep giving yourself the or practicing focusing on the positive aspect of life, the positive things about your body, the positive things about your accomplishments. Another thing that I'm big on is self care. I cannot
Yeah.
talk enough about self care, girl.
Yes.
But here's the thing: I think sometimes we overemphasize the or play expectations for self care. For
Mhm.
instance, I like to keep it very simple. For me, self care is as simple as just going to get a pedicure or
Yes.
getting a manicure. It doesn't even
Yep.
have to be something that expensive. It could
Right.
just be going for a walk at the park with your dog,
Yes.
with your kids. Just keep it simple. Anything that gives you joy, that takes you away from your regular mundane work, to me, that's
Yep.
self care.
Yes.
It's going out to dinner with your friends, your girlfriends, your loved ones. Just keep it simple. But the important thing is you want to engage in an activity that takes you into a place of calm and appreciation for yourself. If you're
Right.
stressed out, that's not self care. If it
Right.
if it requires a lot of work on your end, that's not self care. It should be something that brings you peace and helps uh, put you back into your normal self and allows you to continue to move forward in your body image journey. And then
Right.
finally, I encourage women leaders to seek mentorships and also
Mm.
seek not just one way but two way. So be mentored and be a mentor.
Yes.
Working in corporate like you, I'm sure, I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes I felt like I didn't have enough mentors
Mhm. I feel you.
me the right way, right? Exactly.
Mhm.
I really wanted to find women who looked like me or
Yep.
at least shared the same passion for, rising up the ladder, but also
Yep.
being my authentic self. And
Yep.
it was hard to find. So you want to seek out good mentors, people who you can learn from, and also people who you can coach or lead so that they can be more, and they too can be empowered in their own body image journey.
Yep.
And those are the things that I apply every day, literally, to keep myself on the positive path of my body image journey.
I totally agree with the mentorship. It's very important because just like you wanna see somebody that looks like you, they you're when you're mentoring someone younger than you, I'll say, or, not as far as you along the ladder, it gives them hope too to see you in the position that you're in. So I strongly recommend that. And that doesn't necessarily have to be somebody in corporate, I'll say. It could be similar to what you do. I mean, you work with women, corporate leaders, and women that are 9 to 5ers that are looking to enhance their body image. So it doesn't necessarily have to be within your company. You can seek it outside of your company. I want to make sure that people know that, because oftentimes they feel like they have to stay within their company walls or get trained within their company walls to take their career to the next level. And it's very important for them to know that they can go outside of their company to do that if necessary. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In terms of finding women leaders, you want to look for. So, like I said, it's always good to have a good balance. You want to find somebody who has already achieved everything that, or been where you're trying to go. So,
To
somebody who's
go,
achieved
exactly.
everything that you want to achieve, so that they can guide you along the path as you walk that journey or as you run
Yep,
that journey, however you want to get there. But and then you also, to Inga's point, you also want to find people that you two can teach and mentor up, so that that will encourage those other younger women to be more powerful and impactful leaders. I think part
yes,
of the challenge for me at the time was that I just felt like I didn't have anyone that could show me how to be an impactful leader. I didn't just want to show up to work and do the work and walk away. I actually wanted to make sure that 5 years down the line, the people that were working for me, even though they had moved on, they would be able to look back and say, okay, I really impacted me in
and
this
yeah,
way, and I was able to get to where I am because she did XYZ. That's the
right,
kind of leader that I wanted to be. And so
yes,
you want to have that lasting impact. I think sometimes we are so caught up in the moment. We're very myopic when it comes to leadership. We want to think long term. You want
yep,
your directs, the people that work with you, under you, alongside of you, ahead of you. You want them to be
exactly,
able to remember you before, because of what you have brought to the table, beyond just your knowledge, but also your personality and your
exactly,
leadership experience and your skills.
yep,
So yeah, so I just encourage people, find leaders from diverse backgrounds, diverse cultures. There's always
for sure,
something you can learn. Find younger leaders, that you can learn from. It doesn't always have to be somebody older than you. So
exactly,
don't let
exactly,
ageism be an issue when you're picking a mentor. Look for people of diverse backgrounds, diverse ages, and also in terms of their expertise. It doesn't have to
hmm
be somebody that's within your own functional unit. So,
yes.
yeah, that's my tip.
I would totally agree with that. Totally agree. And I think when we start doing that, I think it's going to create more community within the workforce, that you don't have to look a certain way or act a certain way to be a part of the team, that people can accept you for who you are regardless of your background or your just different ethnic differences. I think it would definitely make it a better place. So this has been so good, so good. Now, Nima, I want you to tell us a little bit about what you had for us, because I know you had a couple of things that you wanted to share with my community, and I would love for you to share that now. And I'm gonna share your website as you talk about it.
Sure, absolutely. So right now, if you go to my website, I'm still running a Mother's Day sale. I started it like a couple of weeks before Mother's Day, and it ends tomorrow, May 31st. And it's sale of my shop as well as my services. Like I said, I work with women leaders to help change their perspective from a negative to a more positive self perception of themselves. So please go to my website, check out all the services I have, but also let's talk about my shop. At the shop, I have merch. And I'll tell you, when you go there, you'll see what a slogan that I have called "God got it right." Now, for me, God got it right represents those moments in our life when we feel like, things may not be going the way we expected, and we've been
Mm,
praying for something, and you expected God to answer in a certain way, but He didn't. He answered in
Right.
his own way. However, when you take a step back after he's answered and you look at the full picture and how God was able to intervene and answer and come to your rescue, or deliver, or solve things out for you, work things out for you, you can truly say after looking through it that God got it right. So that's what that
Yes.
means. I can give
Awesome.
specific instances in my life. For instance, we just did a huge cross country move, from West Coast to East Coast. And I was really nervous about moving to the East Coast because, to me, it's like a whole different country from the West Coast.
It is.
And, but now that, and it was a tough move last year. If you were trying to buy a home last year, it was the worst time to buy a home. And we were in the thick of things. But God worked it out. We found a beautiful home. And in terms of education, much better educational system for my family. And even though at
Yes.
the time I was like, Lord, why did we not get this? And why did we not get that? And that house?
Right.
Why are we here? But now, having been in this place for almost a year, I can see how God worked it out. From the church that we attended, that was the seller's agent that recommended it. Had we not bought this house, we would not know the church that we go to. The school that
Wow.
my kids are in, they're all excelling. Had they not been in that school, they would not have had the opportunity to excel the way they are in across the board. So much so that my son ended up being the poster boy for the state's exam. This is his first
Oh,
year in
wow.
the school. Yes. So these are just opportunities that at the time when we were trying to buy the house and it was just chaotic and we kept being outbid, and finally we got in with this home. I didn't see what God was doing, but now
Right.
that I can take a step back, I'm like, yes, Lord, God got it right.
Yes.
So I want you to buy any of the merch, but more importantly, I want you to send me an email and tell me your story of how God got it right with you. I would love to
Yes.
hear that.
So yes, y'all got to go and check out her merch store. You said something about a Father's Day sale you
Oh,
had
yes,
going
I almost
too.
forgot. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, girl.
So Mother's Day sale ends tomorrow, and then trust me, daddies, I did not forget you. So I have a Father's Day that will be starting, Father's Day sale starting June 1st. It will be very similar to the Mother's Day sale, maybe with a little more. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. I don't want to give out all the good stuff yet. So check out the
So just be
website
watching out for
this
it.
week. Huh? Sorry.
Yep. Yep, just be watching out for
Yeah,
that.
just be
So,
watching out for it. So check out my website this week, and I'll have sales running for Mother's Day ending tomorrow, and then Father's Day is going to kick in for the rest of the month of June. Yes.
awesome. All right. So you guys go check out her website. Thank you so much, Emma, for being here with us today. It's been a pleasure. You have definitely been a blessing to me, and I'm sure you've been a blessing to my community. And for those that are watching, thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome.
Thank you.